Defining psychosis. Psychosis is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon, traditionally characterized by a disconnection from reality. This disconnection can manifest in various ways, including hallucinations, delusions, disorganized thinking, and significantly altered perceptions of oneself and the surrounding world. The World Health Organization, who estimates that around 1% of the global population experiences psychosis at some point in their lives, making it a significant public health concern. The clinical presentation of psychosis varies widely among individuals. Some may experience vivid hallucinations, auditory, visual, or tactile, while others might suffer from delusions, which are persistent false beliefs not based on reality. For example, an individual might firmly believe they are being persecuted by external forces, even when presented with conflicting evidence. These symptoms can lead to profound distress and impairment in social or occupational functioning. Historically, psychosis was often associated with severe mental illnesses such as schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, or bipolar disorder. However, recent research has illuminated the fact that psychotic experiences can occur in various contexts, including severe depression, substance abuse, trauma, and even as a response to environmental, stressors. This broadened understanding of psychosis echoes a shift toward viewing mental health through a more nuanced and inclusive lens. Traditional models of psychosis revelations in psychological and neuroscientific studies offer insights into the underlying mechanisms of psychosis. Traditional models have largely centered around biological theories that focus on neurochemical imbalances, particularly concerning neurotransmitters like dopamine. Researchers have found that heightened levels of dopamine in certain brain regions correlate with the severity of psychotic symptoms, leading to the formulation of the dopamine hypothesis. While this theory has provided a framework for understanding certain psychotic experiences, it does not fully account for the richness and variability of psychotic phenomena. Psychological models tend to address the cognitive and environmental factors contributing to psychosis. Cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) approaches emphasize the role of distorted thinking patterns and the impact of negative beliefs on the experience of psychosis. Cognitive dissonance can exacerbate feelings of paranoia or hopelessness, which is often observed among individuals experiencing psychotic episodes. Emerging concepts of synchronicity as researchers continue to explore the complexities of psychosis, a concept known as synchronicity, a term coined by the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, garnered attention. Synchronicity refers to meaningful coincidences that are not causally related but hold symbolic significance for the individuals experiencing them. This notion challenges conventional scientific explanations and opens the door to exploring psychological, spiritual, and metaphysical dimensions of human experience. In the context of psychosis, synchronicity takes on profound meaning. Individuals experiencing psychotic episodes often report encounters with extraordinary coincidences that they believe carry deep significance. For instance, one might interpret a series of unrelated events as being purposefully orchestrated to convey a specific message. Such experiences raise intriguing questions about the nature of reality and the interconnectedness of human consciousness. Interdisciplinary connections. The investigation of synchronicity alongside psychosis encourages a multidisciplinary approach that integrates psychiatry, psychology, linguistics, and even elements of theoretical physics. By bridging these fields, researchers can gain insights into the nature of consciousness and how it interacts with language, perception, and potentially unseen forces in the universe. This convergence of disciplines suggests that psychiatric symptoms, often attributed solely to neurological dysfunction, might also have connections to larger, perhaps metaphysical frameworks. The exploration of these connections is still in its infancy, and as we delve deeper, exciting possibilities arise regarding the nature of the mind and reality. Research Questions. This article aims to explore the intersection of psychosis, language, and synchronicity by addressing several key research questions. What patterns emerge in the language and behavior of individuals experiencing psychosis, and how might these be interpreted through the lens of synchronicity? Can the recurrence of identical phrases among individuals in different psychiatric wards offer insights into collective unconscious frameworks? How can advanced technologies and computational methods contribute to the understanding of psychosis and synchronicity, ultimately informing treatment and intervention strategies? What ethical considerations arise when delving into the interconnectedness of consciousness and potential metaphysical influences? By examining these questions, we seek to uncover a deeper understanding of the hidden patterns of psychosis, the role of language in shaping human experience, and the implications of synchronicity in mental health. The study, Identical Phrases Across Psychiatric Wards. Background of the study. In recent years, various psychiatric institutions have reported intriguing anomalies in the speech patterns of patients experiencing psychosis. A particular study took place across multiple psychiatric wards where clinicians and researchers began to observe a striking repeatability of certain phrases among patients who had no prior contact with one another. The unexpected frequency of these identical phrases across different geographic locations prompted a deeper investigation into whether these occurrences were mere coincidences or indicative of a more profound interconnectedness. The study sample included individuals diagnosed with various psychotic disorders, including schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, and severe mood disorders. Clinicians conducted interviews and recorded instances of unique language use during episodes of psychosis, paying close attention to any recurring themes or phrases. This qualitative approach allowed researchers to explore the richness of psychotic language and search for patterns that could extend beyond the confines of individual experiences. Anomalous findings, observations from the field. The findings unveiled a plethora of shared phrases that appeared with remarkable consistency across the wards, leading to several compelling observations. Patients reported experiencing identical and often cryptic phrases, such as "the walls are listening," "they are watching through the sky," and "I am the voice in the silence." These phrases often encompassed themes of surveillance, communication, and existential inquiry, suggesting that the language used during psychotic episodes might be tapping into a collective stream of unconscious creps. Cognition. Several case studies illustrate these phenomena effectively. For instance, in one ward located in urban Chicago, 3 different patients reported hearing the same message, "You are chosen for a purpose," over the course of a month. Between the patients, there was no known connection, and their backgrounds differed significantly. The identical use of this phrase raised questions about whether individuals might be experiencing a collective resonance during psychotic episodes. In another instance from a rural psychiatric facility, a cluster of patients began to report identical themes surrounding animals and nature, with phrases like, "The birds are speaking the truth," and "The trees can see." The emergence of these phrases during varying psychotic episodes led researchers to consider the possibility that specific archetypal symbols may emerge in collective unconscious experiences, resonating across different minds. Comparative analysis. Exploring shared experiences, understanding the extent of these phenomena, requires a comparative analysis of similar studies conducted globally. Various mental health institutions have documented instances of recurring phrases and phenomena among psychotic patients, suggesting that these experiences may not be isolated to specific locations or cultural contexts. For example, a study in a psychiatric ward in Paris noted that patients frequently referred to the light in their experiences, often interpreting this light as a form of divine intervention or guidance. The shared imagery of light indicated a potential archetype that resonated across different cultural backgrounds, prompting researchers to examine the psychological archetypes suggested by Carl Jung. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, individuals experiencing psychosis frequently reference technological metaphors, using phrases like "Wi-Fi connection to the universe" or "I am a satellite." These findings further support the idea of a shared cognitive space that transcends individual experiences, suggesting that psychosis may not only be a breakdown of personal reality, but could also reflect deeper, collective narratives about existence, communication, and connection. Theoretical implications. The recurrence of identical phrases among individuals with no prior interaction invites several important theoretical considerations. First, these findings challenge conventional psychiatric perspectives that view psychosis as purely a neurological dysfunction. Instead, they indicate a potential relationship between psychotic speech and a broader interconnected unconscious, akin to Jung's theory of the collective unconscious. Jung posited that the human psyche is not just an isolated entity, but interconnected with others through shared myths, symbols, and archetypes. The phenomenon observed in psychiatric wards may signify that individuals in altered states of consciousness are tapping into a collective reservoir of experiences and symbols, emerging as meaningful expressions during episodes of psychosis. This suggests that language is not merely a reflection of individual thought processes, but may also be a conduit for expressing collective human experiences. Additionally, this raises questions about the nature of reality itself during psychotic episodes. Are individuals experiencing a breakdown of their personal reality? Or are they attuning to a deeper, communal reality that remains hidden from conventional cognition? These shared phrases could not only illuminate individual thoughts, but may also reflect universal metaphysical questions about existence and interconnectedness. Alternative explanations. While the phenomenon of identical phrases across psychiatric wards is fascinating, researchers must also consider alternative explanations. One possible factor could be shared cultural narratives, where media exposure or societal beliefs implant common themes in the collective psyche, leading to their emergence in psychotic experiences. Additionally, neurological disruptions associated with psychotic episodes might manifest as similar linguistic patterns among patients, especially if their symptoms are influenced by shared environmental stressors, or cognitive vulnerabilities. Cognitive impairments could yield repetitive speech patterns without necessitating an interconnected unconscious. The clinical environment itself may also play a role in shaping language patterns. The language used by clinicians and the narratives reinforced within psychiatric institutions may inadvertently shape how patients articulate their experiences. Patients may internalize specific expressions they hear from peers or staff, reinforcing certain phrases over time. Case studies illustrating the phenomena. To further explore this phenomenon, several case studies highlight the complexity of these occurrences. Urban anomaly. In an inner-city psychiatric facility, multiple patients independently described experiencing auditory hallucinations that included the phrase, "the shadows know." This phrase often tied into narratives involving fears of surveillance and existential dread, suggesting a shared paranoia potentially influenced by urban stressors. Nature's voice. A rural psychiatric ward observed patients expressing phrases related to nature, such as, "the rivers whisper secrets," and "the winds carry our hopes." These instances illustrate how environmental context may influence psychotic expression, supporting the interplay between collective unconscious themes and immediate surroundings. Societal reflections. In a ward treating marginalized communities, consistent phrases emerged around identity and resistance, such as, "we rise together and the fight is universal." These phrases not only reflected individual struggles, but echoed broader societal narratives, showing how cultural and social contexts could shape psychotic experiences. The broader implications of shared language in psychosis, the study of identical phrases across psychiatric wards, presents a compelling avenue for inquiry into the nature of psychosis, language, and interconnectedness. Whether viewed through a psychological lens of collective unconsciousness or examined within socio-cultural frameworks, these shared phrases challenge conventional understandings of psychosis beyond individual teen narratives. A multidisciplinary approach combining neuroscience, psychiatry, and psychology may yield richer insights into these phenomena. The balance between meaningful coincidences and neurological dysfunction remains an essential area for further exploration. Ultimately, the emergence of identical phrases among individuals in psychosis opens discussions about the commonalities of human experience, the fluid boundaries between individuality and collectivity, and the profound mysteries of human consciousness. Studies on language patterns in psychosis. Understanding language in psychosis. Language is a fundamental aspect of human communication and cognition. As such, it serves as a critical lens through which to examine experiences of psychosis. Researchers have sought to understand how language manifests in psychotic individuals, focusing on various attributes, including syntax, semantics, thematic content, and discourse structures. These studies have unveiled significant insights into the nature of psychosis and offer a unique perspective on the cognitive processes underlying these experiences. Characteristics of language in psychotic episodes. Research on language use in psychosis has identified distinctive characteristics that differentiate it from typical linguistic patterns. Some of these attributes include: many individuals experiencing psychosis exhibit disorganized thinking, which can be reflected in their speech patterns. This disorganization can manifest as tangential or incoherent speech, where the speaker jumps from one topic to another without clear connections. This disorganized language reflects the underlying cognitive disruptions that characterize psychosis. Perseveration refers to the repetition of words or phrases. This characteristic is frequently observed in psychotic language, where individuals may repeatedly return to specific topics or expressions, indicative of how certain thoughts can dominate their cognitive processes. This tendency highlights the struggle individuals face in articulating their experiences, often becoming ensnared in their own thought loops. Neologisms, or the creation of new words and phrases, are another hallmark of psychotic language. Patients may produce inventive terms or use existing words in novel ways, reflecting their unique cognitive processes. This creative use of language can sometimes carry deep symbolic significance, as these new terms may encapsulate personal experiences and emotions that are difficult to express using conventional language. Echolalia. This phenomenon, characterized by the involuntary repetition of words spoken by another person, is often documented in psychosis. Patients may echo phrases heard from clinicians, peers, or media, blurring the boundaries between their own thoughts and external influences. Echolalia can reflect the challenges individuals face in articulating their reality, leading to reliance on external language cues. The themes arising in psychotic speech frequently reflect the individual's emotional state and context. Common themes can include paranoia, worthlessness, existential questions, and a sense of cosmic significance. This thematic content can offer valuable insights into the underlying psychological distress and the individual's attempts to make sense of their experiences. Notable studies in language and psychosis. The linguistic dimensions of schizophrenia, a foundational study conducted by a team led by T. Dr. Lisa M. Vandermeer explored the linguistic dimensions of schizophrenia through analyses of recorded interviews with patients. The study used both qualitative and quantitative methods to identify patterns in language use and to assess how these patterns correlated with clinical symptoms. The analysis revealed a significant trend. Patients who reported more severe positive symptoms of psychosis, such as hallucinations and delusions, tended to exhibit greater language disorganization. The study found that individuals experiencing heightened levels of paranoia often utilized metaphoric language employing symbols that reflected their fears of surveillance and persecution. Additionally, the researchers noted that patients with less severe symptoms tended to use language that was more coherent and structured, emphasizing the potential link between language patterns and the severity of psychotic experiences. This study underscored the significance of language as a potential diagnostic tool, as certain linguistic features could indicate the intensification of psychotic symptoms. Analyzing neologisms in psychotic speech in another influential study by Dr. Emily Fisher, researchers examined the use of neologisms in patients diagnosed with schizophrenia. The study involved collecting spontaneous speech samples and categorizing neologisms based on their structural and semantic characteristics. Fisher uncovered that neologisms often served to express emotions or experiences that patients found challenging to communicate with standard language. For instance, The term fear breath was created by a patient to describe feelings of anxiety that felt overwhelming and suffocating. The researchers posited that these neologisms could function as a personalized language, allowing patients to navigate their unique psychological landscapes. This study highlighted the power of creativity in psychosis and suggested that encouraging patients to explore and articulate their neologisms could enhance therapeutic approaches, fostering better understanding and connection between patients and clinicians. The role of echolalia in psychotic language research conducted by Dr. Tara Sheldon focused specifically on echolalia in individuals with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and schizophrenia, seeking to understand how echoloic speech reflects cognitive processing. An analysis of patient interactions revealed that echolalia often served communicative purposes beyond mere repetition. It could act as a way to engage in social interaction or express emotional states. Sheldon's team found that certain patients used echolalia in contextually relevant ways, often as a means of establishing contact or validating experience. The researchers concluded that echolalic speech might not merely indicate disorganized thought, but could represent valuable insights into cognitive function and interpersonal dynamics within the realm of psychosis. Thematic analysis of psychotic language. Several studies have undertaken thematic analysis of language in psychosis to explore common themes that arise among individuals. This approach has allowed for nuanced interpretations of psychotic experiences, shedding light on how language conveys the emotional and existential dimensions of the individual's reality. Themes of paranoia and surveillance. A recurring theme identified in psychotic language is that of paranoia and surveillance. Many patients describe feeling as though they are being watched or monitored, leading to expressions like they can see everything or there are hidden cameras. This theme reflects underlying fears and mistrust, often eluding connections with real-life experiences of stigma or marginalization. Researchers have posited that these expressions may be rooted in collective societal anxieties, particularly within contexts marked by surveillance and social norms. Understanding these themes can facilitate trauma-informed approaches in mental health care, where clinicians are attuned to the external world that shapes their patients' psychotic experiences. Existential and cosmic themes. Another significant thematic trend centers on existential and cosmic reflections. Phrases that suggest a search for meaning or a quest for understanding the universe frequently arise in psychotic speech. Patients may articulate sensations of cosmic significance or a sense of being part of something greater. For instance, a patient might express, "I am one with the universe," or "the stars are calling." Such themes signal deeper existential inquiries and may resonate with feelings of isolation or longing for connectivity. Addressing these existential themes in therapeutic settings can create pathways for patients to explore their personal meaning-making and facilitate more profound therapeutic engagement. Implications for therapy and understanding. Psychosis. The exploration of language patterns in psychosis has profound implications for both therapeutic interventions and broader conceptualizations of psychotic experiences. By recognizing the significance of language and its reflection of the individual's psychological landscape, mental health professionals can enhance therapeutic relationships and treatment strategies. Creating a space where patients feel comfortable expressing their unique language patterns, whether disorganized, neologistic, or repetitive, can foster mutual understanding and reduce feelings of isolation. Encouraging patients to explore their language creatively can also establish a bridge for clinicians to engage meaningfully with their experiences. Understanding the themes that emerge in patients' language can guide clinicians toward more personalized therapeutic approaches. For instance, addressing themes of paranoia with empathy and validation can help patients feel heard and understood, thereby enhancing a sense of safety in the therapeutic alliance. As research continues to identify specific language characteristics associated with psychosis, clinicians might leverage structured linguistic assessments to aid in diagnosis and monitoring. This approach can enhance detection of symptom severity and inform tailored interventions. The study of language patterns in psychosis further contributes to the ongoing discourse surrounding the nature of consciousness and experience. By bridging disciplines such as linguistics, psychology, and neuroscience, researchers can explore the relationships between language, cognition, and realities experienced by those with psychotic disorders. The language of psychosis language serves as both a mirror and a vehicle for understanding psychosis. Through its exploration, researchers have unearthed distinctive patterns and themes that reveal the depth of human experience within psychosis. By recognizing the role of language, clinicians and researchers can cultivate a more holistic understanding of individuals experiencing psychological distress, paving the way for more empathetic and effective NT. Approaches to treatment. As we continue to connect the dots between language, psychosis, and the functions of the mind, the future of therapeutic interventions and research holds not only great promise but also a greater appreciation for the complexities of human consciousness and experience. Cognitive and metaphysical dimensions of synchronicity understanding. Synchronicity. A term popularized by the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, refers to the meaningful coincidences that occur in life, where events are linked not by causation but by meaning. Jung believed that synchronicity exemplifies a principle of connection and meaning that transcends ordinary cause and effect relationships, suggesting that events may be connected through a shared archetypal or double neuron. Psychological significance. The exploration of synchronicity opens up profound questions about the nature of reality itself, particularly in the context of altered states of consciousness, including psychotic experiences. Many individuals experiencing psychosis report events or thoughts occurring in synchronous ways, leading to a perception of interconnectedness that can feel both mystical and terrifying. Synchronicity in psychosis. Within the context of psychosis, synchronicity can manifest as a heightened perception of meaningful coincidences. Patients often interpret these occurrences as signs or messages, leading to feelings of being chosen or guided by external forces. This phenomenon can serve various psychological functions, including the search for meaning in chaos, a sense of agency, or the need for connection in an isolating experience. Examples of synchronicity in psychotic experiences. Patients may notice that important dates in their lives coincide with major global events such as natural disasters or political upheavals, leading them to believe these events are personally significant or related to their own life journey. Individuals may interpret repetitive symbols appearing in their environment, such as specific numbers, animals, or colors, as messages or validations of their thoughts and feelings. For example, a patient might see the same bird repeatedly on days when they feel distressed, interpreting this as a sign of support from the universe. A patient may experience an increase in paranoid thoughts that are coincidentally validated by real-life events, leading to an overwhelming conviction that they are being watched or that their thoughts are manifested in the by-treed. External world. For instance, if a patient expresses fears of being monitored and later sees a news story on surveillance technology, it can reinforce their feelings of paranoia and the sense of synchronicity. Cognitive dimensions of synchronicity. From a cognitive perspective, the experience of synchronicity in psychosis can be understood through the lens of cognitive biases, attribution theories, and the psychological logical need for meaning-making. People experiencing psychosis may exhibit various cognitive biases that distort their perception of reality. Confirmation bias, for example, leads individuals to focus on information that supports their beliefs, while disregarding contradictory evidence. This bias can amplify the perception of synchronicity as individuals selectively attend to coincidences that validate their experiences or beliefs. Attribution theory explores how individuals interpret events and their causes. In the context of psychosis, patients may attribute personal significance to coincidental events as a way to explain their overwhelming experiences. This can reinforce a misinterpretation of reality, whereby patients connect unrelated events through a perceived personal narrative of meaning. The human brain has an innate drive to create meaning and story from experiences. For individuals in psychosis, The urge to interpret coincidental events as meaningful can be a coping mechanism, helping to bring order to chaotic internal experiences. The resulting narratives constructed around synchronicities provide a semblance of understanding and control when faced with the unpredictability of psychosis. Metaphysical perspectives on synchronicity. Exploring synchronicity extends into metaphysical realms, raising questions about consciousness, interconnectedness, and the nature of reality itself. The phenomenology of synchronicity invites consideration of several vital metaphysical themes. Synchronicity underscores the idea of interconnectedness among individuals and the universe. This understanding challenges the conventional separation between self and other, suggesting that experiences may be intertwined in a vast, shared reality. This interconnectedness is akin to some spiritual beliefs that emphasize unity and connectedness among all beings. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious posits that there exists a shared reservoir of human experiences, archetypes, and symbols. Synchronicity may reflect moments when individuals tap into this collective consciousness, experiencing synchronous events that resonate with broader human narratives. For some individuals, the experience of synchronicity can feel profoundly mystical, prompting exploration of existential questions regarding the nature of being. These synchronicities may evoke a sense of divine presence or guidance, as patients interpret their experiences as messages from a larger source beyond themselves. The role of language in expressing synchronicity. Language serves as a critical medium for expressing experiences of synchronicity, offering a vehicle for articulating the often ineffable connections individuals perceive in their lives. The ways in which patients describe synchronistic occurrences can reveal their psychological state and the meaning they attribute to their experiences. Patients frequently use symbolic language to convey their experiences of synchronicity. Descriptions of feeling guided by signs or the universe's messages highlight the metaphorical frameworks individuals employ to articulate their perceptions. This symbolic language reflects the underlying desire to connect deeply with their experiences and the world around them. Through storytelling, individuals create narratives around their experiences of synchronicity, weaving together events into coherent stories that heighten their sense of meaning. This narrative construction allows for the synthesis of disparate experiences, further reinforcing the perception of interconnectedness. Sharing experiences of synchronicity can foster a sense of community among individuals. When patients communicate their synchronous experiences with others, whether in therapeutic settings, peer support groups, or casual interactions, they may receive validation and affirmation, reinforcing the importance of these experiences and fostering a sense of belonging. Therapeutic implications of synchronicity. Understanding synchronicity in the context of psychosis has crucial implications for therapeutic practice. Addressing the phenomena of synchronicity can pave the way for tailored interventions that validate individual experiences while fostering insight and empowerment. Clinicians can validate patients' experiences of synchronicity by acknowledging their subjective realities. This validation can create a safe space for exploration, encouraging patients to articulate their beliefs and feelings without fear of judgment. Therapy can provide a platform for patients to explore the meaning behind their synchronous experiences. By engaging in dialogues about these occurrences, individuals may gain a deeper understanding of their experiences, fostering personal growth and insight. For patients who perceive their experiences as connected to a larger cosmic narrative, clinicians may consider integrating spiritual or existential frameworks into therapy. This approach can facilitate discussions around purpose, meaning, and interconnectedness, offering patients a space to explore these themes in a supportive context. The intricacies of synchronicity in psychosis. The exploration of synchronicity as it relates to psychosis encapsulates the interplay between cognition, language, and metaphysical inquiry. Individuals experiencing psychosis may tap into a deeply interconnected reality, where meaningful coincidences offer solace and significance amid the chaos of their experiences. By examining the cognitive and metaphysical dimensions of synchronicity, researchers and clinicians can better understand the multifaceted nature of psychosis. This perspective encourages a broader view of human experience, one that acknowledges the profound complexity of consciousness, interconnectedness, and the quest for meaning in a rapidly changing world. Cultural contexts and shared experiences in psychosis. Understanding psychosis through a cultural lens. Psychosis is not merely a clinical diagnosis. It is a phenomenon that is deeply embedded in cultural narratives, societal values, and communal beliefs. The way individuals experience, interpret, and respond to psychotic symptoms can be profoundly shaped by cultural contexts. This section explores how cultural frameworks inform the understanding of psychosis and how shared experiences within cultural groups foster a sense of community among individuals experiencing similar challenges. Cultural influences on the expression of psychosis. Different cultures have unique conceptual frameworks for understanding psychological distress, which often dictate how symptoms are identified, expressed, and treated. For example, in many non-Western cultures, experiences akin to psychosis may be interpreted through lenses of spirituality, possession, or ancestral communication, rather than being viewed strictly as mental illness. Language itself shapes how individuals articulate their experiences. Cultures with rich spiritual or supernatural narratives may provide a vocabulary for experiences that Western psychiatry might classify as psychotic. For instance, in some indigenous cultures, experiences of visions or hearing voices may be revered as signs of spiritual insight or calling, influencing the individual's understanding and acceptance of their rubber experiences. Cultural attitudes toward mental health significantly affect the stigma surrounding psychosis. In some cultures, mental illness may carry heavy stigma, leading individuals to hide their symptoms or avoid seeking help. In contrast, communities that are open to discussing mental health issues may offer greater support and understanding, fostering an environment where shared experiences can be openly explored. Shared experiences in cultural communities. Cultural communities often provide frameworks for understanding and navigating psychosis, facilitating shared experiences among individuals who face similar struggles. Some of the ways in which these shared experiences manifest include cultural narratives surrounding mental health can shape individual experiences. For example, stories about individuals who experience psychosis as a result of spiritual or ancestral connections can shape how members of that community interpret their own experiences. These narratives can serve as sources of strength, resilience, and understanding, fostering a sense of belonging among those experiencing similar challenges. Cultural groups often establish networks that provide communal support for individuals experiencing psychosis. These networks may take the form of family, religious groups, or community organizations that offer resources, understanding, and connection. Such support systems can mitigate feelings of isolation and empower individuals to share their experiences openly. Many cultures incorporate rituals and healing practices to address mental health challenges, including psychosis. These practices may involve spiritual ceremonies, traditional healing modalities, or communal gatherings that promote healing and reconnection. These culturally relevant interventions can provide individuals with a sense of agency over their experiences while fostering shared understanding. Case studies illustrating cultural context psychosis in indigenous cultures. In various indigenous cultures, experiences that might be classified as psychotic in Western contexts may be interpreted through spiritual lenses. One notable case study involved a member of a Native American tribe who began experiencing auditory hallucinations. Rather than viewing these symptoms purely as a sign of mental illness, the community interpreted them as a form of communication with ancestral spirits. In this case, the individual received support from elders who helped him navigate his experiences through ceremony, offering guidance and validation of the significance of his visions. This context not only provided meaning to his experiences, but also reinforced his connection to the community, showcasing how cultural frameworks can transform the narrative around psychosis from one of illness to one of spiritual journey. The role of religion in psychosis in African cultures. In certain African cultures, psychotic experiences may be understood through the lens of religious belief and communal identity. For example, a case study involving a young woman from a Christian community described episodes of seeing visions of angels. Instead of being perceived only as a symptomatic expression of mental illness, these experiences were framed as divine messages. Community support in these instances consisted of prayer groups and church gatherings that validated her experiences and provided her with spiritual strength. This case exemplifies how religious frameworks can facilitate communal narratives and uphold the individual's identity, enabling a supportive environment for those experiencing psychosis. Bridging cultural perspectives in treatment. The cultural context surrounding psychosis necessitates a shift in how mental health professionals approach assessment and treatment. An awareness of cultural influences in psychosis can lead to more culturally competent care, enhancing therapeutic outcomes while honoring diverse experiences. Some strategies to integrate cultural perspectives include: mental health professionals should undergo training that emphasizes cultural awareness and understanding of how various cultural frameworks shape experiences of psychosis. This training can help clinicians engage with individuals more effectively and sensitively. Clinicians can benefit from integrating culturally relevant healing practices with conventional therapies. For example, incorporating culturally significant rituals, narratives, or community involvement can empower clients and provide holistic support. Utilizing narrative therapy techniques can help individuals articulate their experiences within cultural contexts and shift negative perceptions of their symptoms. By recognizing and reframing their stories, individuals can find new meanings and agency in their experiences. Embracing cultural contexts in understanding psychosis. Cultural contexts shape not only the expression and interpretation of psychosis, but also the experiences individuals have within their communities. By acknowledging and valuing the cultural dimensions surrounding psychosis, mental health professionals can foster more empathetic, effective, and inclusive care. Exploring shared experiences within cultural frameworks reveals the richness and complexity of human experience. It highlights how individuals can find meaning, connection, and resilience within their communities, even in the face of significant psychological challenges. Future directions in understanding and treating psychosis. Advances in neurobiological research. Research into the neurobiological underpinnings of psychosis is advancing rapidly, driven by advances in RANA, technology, and methodology. Understanding the brain mechanisms associated with psychosis could yield important insights into prevention and treatment. Advanced neuroimaging tools, such as functional MRI, fMRI, and positron emission tomography PET, are being used to explore brain activity patterns in individuals experiencing psychosis. These studies aim to identify specific neural correlates of symptoms, helping to clarify how brain dysregulation contributes to altered perceptions and experiences. The exploration of genetic contributions to psychosis has grown, with researchers investigating specific gene variants that may predispose individuals to psychotic disorders. Moreover, epigenetic research is examining how environmental factors can influence gene expression, providing insights into how life experiences, trauma, and stress interact with biological, vulnerabilities. Emerging studies on the role of neuroinflammation suggest that immune system dysregulation may play a significant role in the development of psychosis. Understanding these mechanisms could open new avenues for treatment, potentially using anti-inflammatory medications to alleviate symptoms or prevent episodes. Psychotherapy innovations. As our understanding of psychosis evolves, psychotherapeutic approaches are adapting to offer more nuanced and effective treatments. Recognizing the high prevalence of trauma among individuals with psychosis, trauma-informed care emphasizes the importance of understanding and addressing underlying trauma in treatment. Therapies that integrate trauma work, such as eye movement desensitization and reprocessing EMDR and narrative exposure therapy net, are being explored as effective interventions for individuals with psychotic disorders. CBT techniques have been adapted specifically for psychosis, focusing on helping individuals identify and challenge distorted beliefs while developing coping strategies. Similarly, ACT emphasizes acceptance of symptoms rather than a struggle against them, promoting psychological flexibility and resilience. The growing recognition of peer support in mental health care is reshaping treatment paradigms. Peer support models that emphasize shared decision-making empower individuals to take an active role in their recovery. Incorporating lived experiences into therapy fosters a sense of community and belonging, providing patients with validation and understanding. Integrative and holistic approaches. Future treatment models are increasingly recognizing the importance of holistic approaches that incorporate multiple dimensions of well-being. Techniques such as mindfulness, yoga, and meditation are gaining traction as integrative modalities that can enhance emotional regulation and self-awareness. Research shows that these practices can reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression, complementary to pharmacological treatments. Emerging evidence suggests that nutrition impacts mental health profoundly. Nutritional psychiatry explores the relationship between diet and mental well-being, proposing that dietary interventions can play a role in preventing or mitigating psychotic symptoms. For example, omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and vitamins are being studied for their potential neuroprotective effects. There is growing interest in the therapeutic potential of psychedelics for treating various mental health conditions, including psychosis. While the use of psychedelics in treatment must be approached cautiously, preliminary studies indicate that substances like psilocybin and ketamine may facilitate new therapeutic experiences and help individuals reframe their understanding of psychotic symptoms. Community and societal approaches beyond individual treatment. Future directions in understanding psychosis must also consider community and societal perspectives. Increasing awareness of mental health issues, including psychosis, is essential to reducing stigma and fostering understanding. Community-based initiatives that focus on education, outreach, and advocacy can promote a culture of acceptance and empathy, encouraging individuals to seek help without fear of discrimination. There is a growing recognition of the importance of addressing systemic issues contributing to mental health challenges. Advocating for policy changes that support social determinants of health, such as housing stability, access to healthcare, and poverty alleviation, can create environments conducive to recovery for double-NDAS. Individuals experiencing psychosis. Emphasizing cultural competency in mental health services ensures that diverse populations receive appropriate and relevant care. Future mental health interventions must account for cultural beliefs and values, tailoring approaches to meet the unique needs of different communities. A multidimensional future. The future of understanding and treating psychosis is poised to be multifaceted, incorporating advances in neurobiological research, innovative therapeutic practices, integrative approaches, and community-focused initiatives. As our understanding of psychosis continues to evolve, embracing diverse perspectives and engaging with individuals' lived experiences will be crucial in shaping effective treatments. By fostering collaboration among researchers, clinicians, and communities, we can develop holistic frameworks that honor the complexity of human experience while promoting recovery, resilience, and well-being. For those affected by psychotic disorders. Integrating insights on psychosis. As we conclude our exploration of psychosis, it is crucial to reflect on the multifaceted nature of this phenomenon. The insights gathered from various perspectives, including cognitive, cultural, neurobiological, and therapeutic, highlight the complexity of psychosis as both a clinical experience and a deeply personal journey. Key themes and insights. Psychosis is not a singular experience defined solely by clinical symptoms. It encompasses a range of experiences influenced by individual, psychological, social, and cultural factors. Understanding psychosis requires an appreciation of its intricacies, acknowledging the diverse ways individuals perceive and interpret their experiences. The impact of cultural frameworks on the perception and meaning of psychosis cannot be overstated. Different cultures provide unique lenses through which individuals understand their symptoms, often enriching their experiences with spiritual or community significance. Recognizing these cultural contexts is essential for delivering effective and empathetic care. The concept of synchronicity offers a fascinating insight into how individuals experiencing psychosis may perceive connections and meanings in seemingly random events. This phenomenon illustrates the interplay between cognitive processes, metaphysical beliefs, and the human desire for meaning, which can profoundly shape the experience of psychosis. The future of treating psychosis is bright with innovative approaches that integrate scientific advancements with a holistic understanding of mental health. Advancements in neurobiology, therapy innovations, and the incorporation of community support are paving the way for more comprehensive treatment strategies that respect and empower individuals' experiences. To effectively address the needs of individuals experiencing psychosis, mental health professionals must prioritize cultural competence and advocacy. Understanding the societal context, stigma, and systemic barriers affecting access to care is vital for creating more inclusive and supportive mental health landscapes. Implications for future practice. The insights gleaned from this exploration point to several critical implications for mental health practice. Future treatment paradigms should embrace holistic perspectives that consider the biological, psychological, and social dimensions of psychosis. Integrating complementary therapies, community support, and culturally sensitive practices can create environments conducive to recovery. Building peer support networks that emphasize shared experiences fosters a sense of belonging and connection among individuals facing psychosis. These networks can empower individuals to share their journeys and co-create narratives of resilience. Ongoing research that bridges disciplines combining neuroscience, psychology, and cultural studies will further enhance our understanding of psychosis. Collaboration among researchers, clinicians, and communities promotes a more comprehensive understanding of mental health challenges and potential remedies. Closing reflections. In summary, psychosis is a complex and often misunderstood experience that intertwines individual, cultural, and societal threads. By embracing a multidimensional approach that respects diverse experiences and fosters empathetic care, we can enhance our understanding of psychosis and improve the lives of those affected. As we move forward, let us commit to advocating for mental health awareness, fighting stigma, and working to create supportive environments that recognize the intricate realities of psychosis. Through compassion, understanding, and innovative approaches, we can illuminate the path toward recovery and well-being for individuals navigating the challenges of psychosis.